welcome to the Board Game Network. This is James. I'm going to be showing you how to play this game called Adrenaline, put out by Czech Games Edition. This is a quick, fast-paced game. Plays 3 to 5 players in about an hour. And if you're looking for a deep strategy game with a lot of thinking and a lot of time between turns, this is not your game. This is a game where you're quickly throwing out cards, running around and just shooting. And it's like a video game, but on a board. Now this board here is split, and so it's got, both of them have 2 sides. So you got a choice. When you've got 3 players, you play one combination of boards, 4 or 5, to have more space on here. You're gonna put skulls up here, and you're gonna put from 5 to 8 skulls. So the more skulls, the longer the game is gonna be. You're gonna shuffle the weapon cards and put 3 weapons on each spawn. Here's a spawning point. So you got the rectangles here. You put 3 weapons dealt face up here. In each of those, you got a yellow and a blue and a red spawning point. You're also going to take your ammunition tiles and you're going to mix those up and flip one up in each space that does not have a spawning point. You're going to shuffle up your upgrade cards, and you're going to have a pile of these victory point tokens. Your goal is just to get as many points as you can get. You are going to take 3 of each color of cube. There's red, yellow, and blue cubes. You can never have more than 3 of any one color at a time, so you just keep your own supply. You're going to take 1 of each color and set it here. You're going to have your player mat that keeps track of the damage that you've taken, and you've also got this little piece that sits here, and you're going to have it on the side that's got the 3 arrows, and then an arrow and a hand and a target there, and that shows you your choices for your actions on your turn. This is the first player marker, and it does not move around like it does in some games. This just keeps track of who the first player was at the beginning of the game. Okay, you're going to grab you a player mat of a color. You're going to grab your action figure of a color. You're going to grab all of the wound tokens of that color. And so the first player is going to take 2 power-up cards. He's going to look at them. Here's a blue one, here's a yellow one, and decide whether he would rather start on blue or start on yellow, and whichever one he starts on, he's going to discard that card. And then he keeps this other one in his hand. He has a maximum number of power-ups of 3. He cannot have more than 3 power-ups in his hand. So if he should take a power-up and he's already got 3, he doesn't take it. Okay, so my 3 choices are move 3 times, and that's 3 times orthogonal. So 1, 2, 3. You can go through doors. You cannot go through walls. And each of these is a movement. This is one room. This yellow is a room. Green is a room. Blue is a room. But each square is a movement. So you can move 3 times. You can move 1 time and grab something. So that would be grab a weapon or grab ammunition. Or the third option is to shoot. And you can do those in any order, and you get to do 2 of them. So you can do the same one twice if you want to. But the first thing I'm going to do is I am going to grab a weapon. I've got these 3 here. Here's the cost of the weapons right up here. And the cost of the weapon does not include the very top box. So if I bought the plasma gun, it would cost me a yellow, and I would ignore the blue square here. Some of these only have 1 square on them. Like this one here would actually be free sledgehammer because there's only 1 cube on it. So if I bought this machine gun, it costs a blue and a red, but I'm ignoring the blue, so I'm only paying the red. I take the red off. I now have that. I put it in my hand. Now each of these weapons does something different, so you just need to look at them. There is a weapons manual that explains very well what each weapon does, and it's got it categorized by blue, red, and yellow weapons. So you just look to see what color the weapon is, and then it's alphabetized after that. So the machine gun here, if you look at it and you go, I don't really understand what this means. It says choose 1 or 2 targets you can see and deal 1 damage to each. Now if it's doing damage to 2 different players, it's got like a red guy here and a blue guy. If it's doing it to the same player, then it will be the same color twice. It also has another cube down here. It goes on to explain the rest of the card in there too. But if I paid a yellow, then I get to add 1 damage. If I pay a blue, then I get to add another damage. So if I don't understand it, I just read my machine gun, and it says with the focus shot, I deal 1 additional damage to one of these targets. So that's this one. So I could do 2 damage to one player and 1 damage to another player. With the turret tripod, deal 1 additional damage to the other of those targets, and or deal 1 damage to a different target. So I could do 2 damage to each player. So it does a great job in that weapons manual to explaining these cards. And so I grabbed that, so that's 1 action. And then I could move and grab, let's say I move and grab that one. That gives me 2 red and a yellow. So that gets discarded. And at the end of my turn, the replacements get put back out here. So a new weapon card gets put up, and a new ammunition tile gets put up. And that's the end of my turn, and it goes to the next player's turn. So the way shooting works is each of these has different icons on them for, like this one shows that you have to be in the same square as the other player. Some of them show that you have to be in a different square. Some of them can shoot through walls. There's just all kinds of different variety of things. This one can shoot and move a player. But once you've shot, what you do is let's go down a turn, and we've got players out here, and I shoot with my machine gun. Now I have to be able to see this player. So I shoot, and so I give 1 point of damage to the yellow player. And so I put that on the very first space. You start at the left and work to the right on giving damage, and then 1 point of damage to the blue player. And then I can pay to do the extra. And the upgrade cards that allow you to do something special, they also can be discarded for their cube cost down here at the bottom. So if I wanted to pay a blue, I could discard this one to pay that blue cube cost. And you can discard upgrade cards to buy weapons also. So they are generically used for either whatever the ability on here is, or to discard them for that cube color. Okay, so once you shoot, then your card gets placed, your weapon gets placed face up, and it's become unloaded. And at the end of your turn, you'll see this arrow here. That means you can reload at the end of your turn, and you can reload as many weapons as you have, as many as you want, that you can pay for. And now on reloading, the cost is different. You actually have to pay the full cost that's marked on the card. So this one cost me blue and a red to do the reload, and then I put that card back in my hand. And then if you've done any kills on that turn, you go ahead and score them. And the way a kill happens is if you've taken a wound on your 11th space, and you always start from the left and work to the right. So if you have done a wound to somebody's 11th space now, or the 12th is actually an overkill, but 11 will kill a person. And so what happens is they score the board. And so whoever did the first point of damage gets 1 point, and so they are going to take 1 point on their token, find a 1, and they get that for doing the first point of damage. Whoever does the most damage throughout gets 8, second most is 6, and so on down. And if there's a tie, then it's whoever did the damage first is the tiebreaker. And so the 11th one actually gets taken off and put up here, and then this skull gets covers up the biggest number that's still uncovered here. So the next time this person gets killed, it's only worth 6 points, and the time after that is worth 4 points, and so on. The 12th mark here of damage is the overkill, and so when that happens, whoever did that point of damage, the player that got killed actually gives one of their damage to the other player, and that's a mark. It's not damage, it's a mark. And so whenever that player does damage to anybody who has a mark, after that, any marks actually become damage. Okay, and you'll notice also that up here above the track, there's some of these icons like this. So once you've taken 3 wounds here, you're up on this track where it says you can move twice and grab instead of moving once and grabbing. Once you get over here, you can move and then shoot. So you actually get better as you've taken damage. That's why the game is called Adrenaline. You actually get to be a better player once you've taken more damage. You can also get a double kill, which is if you kill 2 people in the same turn, you get a 1 point bonus. Once somebody has been killed, you remove all the damage and you draw a power up. You do not discard your power ups, so you may already have some power ups, and even if you have 3, you draw another one, and then you're going to discard one of those power ups, and that's where you're going to respawn on your next turn. So you score, you play until the last skull has been taken off the board. So that's the end of the game. And then you score your boards one more time as if everybody had been killed. And now this is the introductory game. Once you have played it a time or 2, then you're going to go into what's called the fast frenzy. Once this last skull has been taken, then the game goes for one more round. Whoever did the kill shot, from the next player up to the first player, everybody's going to flip these over, and from the next player to the player before the first player, he gets this top section, which is 2 actions, and these are slightly better than these ones over here. So a move, a reload, and a shoot, or move 4 times, or move twice and grab, and he gets to do 2 of those. And then anybody from the first player on to the player that did the kill shot gets only 1 action on their turn, and move 2, reload, shoot, or move 3 and grab. So that's the fast frenzy, the very last round. And also there's a couple of variant rules in here or other play modes, the domination mode and the turret mode, which give you even more variation to the game. Plays different. So that's how you play Adrenaline, just a fast-paced jump in there and start shooting around at other players. So if you want to learn other games like Adrenaline, make sure you tune into all of the videos here at the Board Game Network.